Exodus chapter 22 verse 1. If a man steals an ox or a sheep and kills it or sells it, he shall repay 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If a thief is found breaking in and is struck so that he dies, there shall be no blood guilt for him. But if the sun is risen on him, there shall be blood guilt for him. He shall surely pay. If he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the stolen beast is found alive in his possession, whether it's an ox or donkey or a sheep, he shall pay double. So there's a few verses here concerning theft. Remember, I told you in introduction that one of the 5 words, or I'm sorry, 10 words in the Decalogue, 10 commandments is do not steal. So it starts immediately in this chapter here with this part of stealing. Okay, and so stealing off an ox. An ox is a pretty important animal. An ox is what you need to, well, carry stuff, work on the farm, plow, stuff like that. So you can't really live without an ox. You need to have an ox to do the work on the farm. So then there's going to be, in this case now, a differentiation between an ox and a sheep, and the stealing of the one and the stealing of the other one. And the reason ultimately that has to do with the fact that the ox is a lot more important than a sheep. Okay, so it starts as well off with the stealing of an ox or a sheep in verse 1. And if he does it, he needs to repay. But the example here is not of stealing it and then keeping it to do some work for him there on the other side of the mountain or something like this. This is killing it or selling it. So it was not an accidental thing, right? This guy, well, do you have an ox for sale? No, I don't. Go to the neighbors, take his ox, go and sell it, kind of idea. This is a predetermined plan. So the penalty, the compensation for it, is pretty high. It's higher than in other cases. So it's not an accidental thing. This is a pre-planned thing, right? Therefore, so the person had more time to think about it, like Cain killing Abel. He had more time to think of it. It wasn't in the spur of the moment thing. The stealing of an ox or and then killing and selling it, the ox and the sheep, is a clear indication that this is a pre-planned action, which is then a lot worse than a spur of the moment kind of action. So for ox, 5 oxen back, sheep 4. Because a person might be the important time of the year when he needs to plant, the ox is gone, he can't plant, it's going to take him a while to get the oxen, to find out who did it, etc. He might lose his whole time of planting. So the material wealth that he's losing is a lot more than if someone just stole a sheep. Verse 2 then is, so now this moves into, so what happens now if this guy had this plan to come and steal this ox and he comes in at nighttime, right? So, well, if someone comes at nighttime and you kill that thief, then that's that. That's no blood guilt. No one can come and kill you, anything like that. You're not guilty. If it happens during the daytime, though, after the sun is risen, and you do that, then there is blood guilt. So why the difference? So you can kill someone during the best time, then this come and steal during the day. Actually, it is the best time, but the chance of success during the daytime when the people are around is a lot smaller. So to have a better chance of success, you kind of need to do it during the nighttime. It's a bit like this. I mean, it's not always true, but we know bad things happen more, this stealing of stuff. But unlike those people who went into the Louvre and stole all those, during the daytime, all those jewels. Anyhow, so the point is, at nighttime, why the difference? At nighttime, you can't see so clearly. I mean, you can't see where the head of the guy is, so you hit him with a bottle over the head or something like that. You might just try to beat him or something, but you can't see exactly where it's dark. They don't have street lights, and so you might hit him in a place where he dies, right? Or the person you are not expect, or you can't get help to come. I mean, at nighttime, other people sleeping, you can't call for your neighbor to come and help you, right? So the situation of doing this is there a lot more dangerous to the person that is being robbed than if it happened during the day. And therefore, as well, the distinction between if it happens at night, you can, if you kill him by accident or you kill him, then it's okay. No blood guilt. And don't say it's okay, but I mean, there won't be blood guilt on you. While if you do it during the day, you know, when you can call other people, we have plans, you can take precautions, then the blood of this person of this thief is ultimately on you. Right, now what happens then when this thief is caught? Like, so it was said that 5 oxen back, 4 sheep back, but what happens if he can't pay that, right? So it was a way for him to try and make some money, and he had nothing, and now, yeah, sure, he's not going to be able to give 5 oxen back. So what does he do then? Well, he needs to be sold off. It needs to be sold as a slave in that 6-year, into that 6-year program, to put it like that, where the owner then most likely will pay for him up front as they then decide on the amount, and that money will then go to the person who stole. So in that sense, they're not giving oxen back, but you're repaying with money. Okay. So what happens if the beast is still in his possession? So he stole the ox so as to use it to farm or something like that, and you can still find. What then? If it's an ox or a donkey or sheep, pay double. So you need to give the animal back, or at least you're going to pay double for, not 5 times for an ox and 4 times for a sheep, just double. So in other words, this is maybe not such a predetermined or a premeditated action from his side. Maybe, maybe not. Or by his luck, he couldn't sell it yet, or something like that. But you can kind of get the animal back. So it just seems as if there's a less of a premeditated act in the fact if this thing is still found with this person. And so therefore the penalty is lower than if this animal was ultimately killed or sold off. So we learn then of that one thing we do see from this is there's not a question of a person being put in prison. The person, well, it can be sold into slavery, but still it's not a closed-in prison. In most societies, someone steals something, is put in prison. After being found guilty, is put in prison, right? And well, the negative part of being put in prison ultimately is the person from whom you've stolen, he doesn't really get anything back, right? So you took stuff and you can't get it back and it's gone. And it's just that guy's put in prison, you're not getting anything back, except if you had insurance and stuff like that, you might get some insurance money, etc. But in other words, the person from whom you stolen, you just lose everything. The other negative of being put in prison is, well, this person can't really make any restitution. Other negative is the fact that you as a taxpayer actually need to pay money to feed him. So you're being robbed twice. Yes, there are advantages of prison, taking the guy out of society, kind of, depending on the actions. He might, if it's easy for him. Other disadvantages, the difference between the rich and the poor. So rich and steal because they can always repay. The poor, well, they will never be able to repay. But still, yes, in that sense, in their agrarian society, where especially during the time they were in the desert, they couldn't really build prisons, but afterwards they could. But they still didn't, and because it is kind of better to rehabilitate. I think it's maybe a little bit the Nordic countries' ways of handling criminals, trying to restore this person, or so re-educate him in a certain sense, so that he can be an active member of society and not just a leech on society.